Morning, I'm Naomi Farrell. I'm a qualified dental hygienist and therapist. I've been qualified 10 years now from Portsmouth University, and we're in lockdown, so it's all a bit strange. I'm filming this video, as you can probably see, from my bathroom, and I thought it might be nice to do a little video on electric toothbrushing because I've done several videos on YouTube about cleaning interdentally with floss or little interdental brushes, but I've never done one on toothbrushing, I don't think. So let's give it a go. So the Department of Health, they recommend an oscillating rotating toothbrush. So it's one that moves from side to side and sort of vibrates. I use a small circular head, which is quite different to a manual toothbrush shape of a kind of rectangle. I find that a small circular head gets into all your nooks and crannies. But again, a lot of these things are technique of how long you're brushing for, where you're putting your bristles of your toothbrush, and yeah, how many times a day you're brushing as well. So the Department of Health recommend twice a day for 2 minutes. And I find doing it in a systematic approach, so starting kind of one end, working your way all around the top arch on the outsides of your surfaces, so these surfaces, coming back to the start, doing all the inside, so where your palate is on the inside here, and then come back to the start and do all your top surfaces where you chew your food up here. You get lots of kind of food debris and plaque stuck in all these little grooves in the teeth, so it's so important to get your toothbrush in there. The one thing I advise to patients is that I'm not a fan of battery operated ones, that you shove a battery in, and I just find that they're not as powerful, they're not as efficient, and they just don't work as well. There's been a lot of trials done now on the differences between manual and electric toothbrushes. I won't go into it in great detail today because we won't have enough time. But electric toothbrushes come out on top every time. So I'm going to get my brush out. It's looking a bit scruffy actually, so I thought it might be quite a good way to show you how to change the heads as well. Oral-B, I'm going to talk about mainly today. They've got lots of different versions. This is the more pricey, expensive version in rose gold, which is quite nice. It matches my hair at the moment. And it doesn't matter really. The ones that you should be using are from the, I think they call them Pro 2 or Oral-B 2000, are probably the same, rotate at the same speed as the more expensive ones, but the more expensive ones you're just paying for the look of the toothbrush, you're paying for the gadgets, Bluetooth and that kind of thing. So I think the main things are that you're using a small circular head, and you see my bristles are starting to splay now, so that needs changing. Also with Oral-B, they've got this colour indicator, so they reckon when the blue gets down to the end, you need to then replace them. But they say every 3 to 6 months. So this has probably been about 5, maybe 6. So to change it, you basically just pull it off, simple as. And then I've got a brand new one waiting, look at that, wow, all shiny new. And you just pop it back on. The most important things with electric toothbrushes, once you've kind of used it, you see this little hole here, you flush the tap through, so take it off each time you've used it, flush the tap through, water will come out here and make sure that it doesn't get clogged up and not work as efficiently, so it's all about maintaining it well. Then you can get a tissue or your towel, wipe around the top of the toothbrush, so again you haven't got a load of build-up of gunk here, and then you can pop your head on and you're ready to rock. The other area where it does build up is on the charger. So again, regularly just making sure that you're wiping this area, just so that you know that it's then charging efficiently. Following the guidelines of how regularly you should be charging it, well, I kind of leave it on all the time. I don't know if that's the correct thing or not. Probably need to read the booklet. But because I've had it such a long time, it doesn't keep charged for like more than probably about 4 days fully. So I like it to be at fresh charge each time you use it. With this one, I'm quite a fan because it's got a pressure sensor. So if I turn it on, for example, and I'm pressing too hard with my toothbrush onto my enamel, it can wear the enamel away. You know, it's the same with a manual. You can't control your pressure. So it's so important that you're using the correct technique and that you're not pressing too hard. So as you can see, if I press too hard on my hand, ta-da, it flashes this weird, I don't know if you can see that red light, and it makes that noise, which obviously isn't a good sound. They also do other attachments for Oral-B, which I use all the time. So this little gadget, ta-da. They don't sell these in the shops, which I find really frustrating, but it fits any Oral-B base. There's a little logo. And it's like a little extra tufted brush. So this isn't to use around the whole mouth. This is to use in hard to reach areas around wisdom teeth, etc. So I had a wisdom tooth taken out on my lower left, and also got quite a tight cheek here as well. So I find this, when I had my wisdom tooth taken out at the back, it left a crater at the back, and I can't get around there with my normal toothbrush. So if I show you now, so right at the back here, I can't quite get my toothbrush around the back of there. So what I do is pop on this little gadget. And you can work it in. So it does work, it's brilliant. So they're usually, you get 2 in a pack for about £6 probably. You can get them on Amazon as well. Obviously Amazon sells everything. So there you go. So let's just change that. So how to use it, I suppose, is the main question. So how do I start? So basically, the Department of Health recommend angling it at 45 degrees. So something along the lines of not flat on the teeth, but tilting it at 45 degrees into the gums. I think the main aim is that you're getting your gums every time. So I'm going to try and show you without toothpaste on, and I'm also going to show you that to reach these outside surfaces on the backs, you don't need to open really wide. That's the main mistake that a lot of patients make. Opening really wide, you get a tight cheek, and then you can't get your toothbrush. You want to come up here, yeah? So don't open too wide. So that's quite a good tip as well. So coming back, here we go. So as you can see, I'm just using a rocking motion, and I'm angling it up into the gums. I can really feel it massaging my gums. A lot of people do this, which my husband does. It drives me batty. You know, it's doing it for you. All you got to do is put it in the right place. So here we go. So you just go a tooth at a time. And as you can see, because it's a circle head, it fits each tooth perfectly. Whereas if I find, have I got another one of those heads on me? I think I got one out. Oh yeah, it's over here. Oral-B also do these massive, I don't know if these are quite old brushes actually, but these massive heads, and I just think, how are you gonna get around the corners with it? I'm just not a fan of those. So in fact, I'm probably just going to put that straight in the bin. It's rubbish. They also do these like orthodontic heads for people who have got brace fixed appliances. Again, I'm not overly convinced. You could probably just use your normal one. But anyway, so again, it's a small circular head, which I'm a fan of. And it's got like this little tufted area in the middle. Okay. So to get to the insides, a lot of people miss here for some reason. Pushing your tongue down and just, again, angling it into the gums. As you can see, mine cross over a little bit here, so I always get gunk stuck in there. So again, you could always get your little one and wrap it into there and on the front. In my past, I over scrubbed with my manual, which is why I've got a bit of recession around areas here. So again, if I press too hard, you'll see what happens. And after the red light flashes up. So yeah, so you get the gist. you've done all your brushing and you've gone around all your surfaces on the outside, the inside, and then the tops of your teeth, I use my tongue to feel around the flat surfaces. Does it feel nice and clean and smooth? If it feels furry, then you've not done it correctly and you need to go back over it. And you can get a good feel with your tongue. You've got little hairs on your tongue which are very sensitive, and yeah, I think it's really a useful tool. The other thing that I also like to do is brush my tongue. I'm a bit retchy in the morning, so I like to do it more in the evening. So it's kind of sticking your tongue out. And you're just cleaning all the sort of bacteria that are sitting on the tongue and the little hairs. You can use toothpaste on it, obviously. So that's that. The other thing that we should be doing, which is super important, is spitting, not rinsing. So again, brush around everywhere, the whole of your mouth. Spit your toothpaste into the sink. Then you do not rinse your mouth out with water. You're leaving the fluoride from your toothpaste to do its job on the enamel. If you're washing off with water, you're washing off everything that you've just put onto your enamel. It's a bit like hair conditioner. So if you're a hair conditioner user, you leave it on for 2 minutes and then you wash it off. So it has a chance to sort of get into your hair follicles. Just a quick one on toothpaste. At the moment I'm using an Aquafresh plain one. I just like the flavour and it's not gritty. Anything sort of whitening or gritty or anything like that is, again, really abrasive. So you think you're whitening your enamel, you're not. The gritty particles are just taking microns of your enamel off. So I like a smooth toothpaste, one that's creamy and doesn't have any particles in it. I think I've been yabbering on for about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to stop. I hope that's helpful. Any questions? I'm here. I've got lots of spare time with a 4-year-old, obviously. Let me know. All right. Take care, everyone. I hope you stay safe and stay happy. Okay, bye.